Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Monday, June 20th, 2016. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, where we bring you today's top stories translated into English every weeknight. The Albanian national team gained a victory in Lyon over Romania, receiving its first 3 points in the Euro 2016. Gianni De Biasi's team finished their Group A campaign with 3 points and now wait to see if they are one of the 4 best third-place teams. Albania unfortunately lost against Switzerland and then to France, but they rallied back and finally achieved a win in their first major international competition. Their vibrant and passionate supporters who have lit up this tournament are proud of their team and the way that they have performed in France, which was capped by this win at the Stade de Lyon. Sunday's victory was their first over Romania since 1948, and through the first 25 minutes, it seems that the barren run would continue, with Romania dominating the opening moments. However, Albania kept a good defense strategy, not allowing Romania to score, and posed a greater threat with what little possession they had. First, Legnani swooped over from 3 yards before Memushai wove through the defense and fired straight at Romania's goalkeeper. They finally broke the non-scoring seal just before halftime when striker Sadiku, who had been working tirelessly all over the pitch, managed to get past Romania's keeper. Albania's first score became their only goal, as they had several other chances but were unsuccessful in scoring. The victory was celebrated all around Albania into the late hours, and the Albanian team supporters celebrated the first victory of their national team in France. The Prime Minister promised diplomatic passports and €1 million to the players as a reward for the great play they displayed in France. The majority is continuing the work for the judicial reform alone. The ad hoc commission of judicial reform gathered today, and the opposition chose to boycott it. The majority started to discuss the 7 bills, known as the emergency bills, which must be adopted along with the constitutional changes. The laws are organic and include the bill on the Constitutional Court, the bill for the evaluation of the judges and prosecutors, the bill on establishing the National Bureau of Investigation, the bill on organizing the judiciary, and the bill on organizing the prosecution. The bills are necessary to implement the judicial reform. The chairman of the ad hoc commission expressed his regret that the opposition boycotted and gave assurance that the work will continue. We will review the 7 main bills that accompany the constitutional package, which make implementing the judicial reform possible. The reform cannot be effective if these 7 bills are not approved. Also, with the approval of the reform, the existing institutions will cease to exist, and new institutions should be established. We predict this process will finish by July 15th, declared the chairman of the ad hoc commission. A few minutes later, the vice chairman of the commission, a Democrat MP, declared that a meeting of the commission was not of value as the work on the draft has not concluded. The Commission's actions are unilateral. The only solution is to agree on the only point of disagreement and later to draft the laws on its basis. The Constitution and the law should be made together after finishing the draft. They adopted the draft unilaterally, and they want to also do so with the laws, said the vice chairman of the ad hoc commission. The Democrats are insisting on the reserved seats in institutions that verify the character of the judges and prosecutors. Without the reserved seats, the Democrats will not vote for the reform. The reform needs a 2/3 vote or 94 votes to be adopted. From 94 votes that are needed, the majority has 86 and needs another 8 votes to complete the necessary count. The vote of 4 MPs who are not part of any parliamentary group is expected to be seen. Prime Minister Rama headed the meeting of the Socialist Party parliamentary group today. It is learned that Thursday's bills and the parliamentary submission of 33 MPs' initiatives regarding constitutional changes were a focus of the meeting. After the meeting with the parliamentary group, the Prime Minister held a meeting with the chairmanship and some ministers. At the end of the meeting, the Prime Minister was asked whether there is anything new regarding negotiations with the opposition over the judicial reform. The Prime Minister avoided commenting, saying only that he is enjoying the victory of the Albanian national team. Bad management of the concession agreements and the property issues are the greatest risks for the Albanian economy. Speaking at the scientific conference, the head of the state supreme audit emphasized that Albania is exploiting natural resources without measure and has bad management of concession agreements, especially of hydrocarbon agreements. The state supreme audit appealed for a reduction of both the public debt level and of social inequality. The highest risk is found in the public administration system. The risk comes from using natural resources without criteria, from bad management of concession agreements, especially the hydrocarbon agreements, and from bad management of public-private partnership, which has a high cost on the state budget. Corruption should be discovered and denounced. Transparency of the government's budget should be increased. The internal auditor risk of work ineffectiveness and inefficiency is too high. The risk management strategy is not being implemented properly. The risk work coordinators and the authorizing officers of any public entity are not at the right level, said the SSA head. Present at the conference, the Minister of Finance declared that the government is paying attention to these economic challenges. According to the minister, the property issue is on the right path to being solved. The minister declared that if the property issues are not resolved correctly and definitively, the state budget can face a $1 million fine from the Strasbourg court. The risk management conference will be held for 2 days, and the findings will be submitted to the policymakers at the end of the conference. Prime Minister Rama and Tirana's Mayor Ariane Villiers inspected construction of the new boulevard today. Experts from the project's construction company declared that 1/3 of the work to construct the first underground parking lot has finished. The underground parking will be administered by City Hall. The Prime Minister and the Mayor considered the project a new standard. The boulevard will have the same width as the Champs-Élysées Avenue and is 75 meters long. The first underground parking will prove that such things can be realized in Albania, said the mayor. Still in the spirit of the Albanian national team's victory in Lyon, the Prime Minister declared that this space will be transformed into a fan zone for upcoming championships. This will be the place the fan zone area of future European championships will be made, said the Prime Minister. Along with the new boulevard, the work to rehabilitate Tirana's riverbed, which is also part of the project, continues. Former Vice Mayor Bozdo reacted to the work on the new boulevard and Tirana River rehabilitation. Bozdo says the only works of the municipality have been concrete, high taxes, an increase in bus ticket prices, and a lack of service that the Prime Minister and the Mayor have chosen to show off with the projects of the former Mayor Basha, which according to him are the only way to restore a sustainable capital. Bozdo accuses the Prime Minister of being responsible for blocking the building of the new boulevard and Tirana River rehabilitation for 2 years. He also accuses them of changing the project and adding more concrete surfaces and reducing green spaces. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. My name is Marian on behalf of Aura News. Thank you and good night.